Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast. I'm your host, the entertaining entertainment system, Eddie V. Thank you guys for joining me. As always, he is the Kakashi of the crew, Mr. Jesse Douglas, the wise Wisconsinite.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And it is the blue-eyed broham, but bewildered when I bring 24 expressions on Nintendo Power Block. And on this episode also, boss man himself, Mr. Corey Derrick.
What is happening? What is this intro? What is happening?
Look, you gotta say he puts the boss in boss rush.
I mean, I made new intros for everything, but man, whoa. Ed, by the way you introduced yourself made you sound like one of those fake NESs with the Raspberry Pis that they sell at the mall.
That just has like knockoff names for the game.
6,001 games.
Yeah.
They was at the mall kiosk in the middle by the food court.
I didn't even know NES had 6,000 games.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like Space Invaders and like...
Okay. Yes, everybody. Our hot cha-cha-cha chocolate streaming champion Ray Apollo couldn't make it. He is spending lovely time with family and friends. So happy that he gets to do that. But we're going to get to some housekeeping. Follow us on Twitter at boss_rush_games and on Facebook and Instagram at Boss Rush Games. Join our Discord, Xbox console community, and our Destiny clan. Also, live shows have returned. Join us live on Mixer and Twitch at Boss Rush Games Live, all one word, to chat with us live on air. You can also find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Pod and Play Revamp, our seasonal Let's Play show, is officially underway. You can go to bossrushgames.com Saturdays from February 1st to April 4th this season, featuring games like Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Spec Ops: The Line, Monster Hunter, and more. Tweet at us what games you want to see in the upcoming seasons. Lastly, Arsenal X has officially returned live and on podcast service. Yes!
Drop that X.
Yes, Wednesdays. Join us on Sunday Night Arsenal for the pre-show, the live podcast recording, and some multiplayer Xbox fun on Mixer and Twitch. Also, remember to check out our family of shows, podcasts, and videos on youtube.com/bossrushgames, podcast services, and of course, bossrushgames.com. So before we get into our gaming get down, how's everybody been?
Pretty good.
Yes, hopefully everybody who's watching this also had a great Valentine's Day. Our great wise Wisconsinite music producer, Mr. Jesse Douglas, he has a Valentine's Day track, in case if you got to get to see. It's called Boss Hush. It is very... gets the body moving. Let's just say.
Should I use this track on our next episode of After Dark?
We talked about it.
That's what we talked about. The thing is I think I want to take those the lyric stuff out though. If we do use it, just because I don't know, it's that the female singer stuff that I used in it or whatever. It needs work still.
Is it too sexy? Is that what we're calling?
No, not really. But it's just.
It kind of just sets the beat, sets the mood, and it was just a Valentine's Day track. So you can't. It
was so quickly thrown together. I honestly didn't spend much time on it. I didn't have a lot of free time this week. So.
Yeah, but it's a really good track, but that everybody should go check out. But yeah, how you guys been doing?
Like I said, I've been doing good. Just kind of busy this week. It's just a lot of work at work this week for me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of catching up on things and trying to Ed, you and I have been trying to finish up some of the pod and play stuff. And Jesse, I know we're going to try to do some of it this weekend too. I'm just trying to. I've been really focused on trying to get that finished and posted, and I know a couple, probably the episodes Ed and I recorded last night, I probably sound like I'm dead tired, which is not, it's not false. Dude, this, and I've also been trying to fight off this. I haven't felt really good this week, and like the other night I didn't sleep well because my back I had so much back pain that, like, I told Ed this last night. I went to bed 2 nights ago. I had so much back pain, but I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to sleep it off. It'll feel better in the morning. And at like 11:30, I heard my kid wake up, and my wife went in there to kind of put her back to bed and stuff. And like, I've never felt like this before in my life. I've never felt anything like this before in my life. And like, I usually don't like saying how I feel, like if I'm sick or not. I just kind of like push through it or whatever. But like, my back hurt so bad that like, it felt like this little bubble in my back was kind of like expanding, and like my right leg and arm were numb. They were literally numb to where I couldn't feel it.
You totally had like a pinched nerve or something then, probably.
I don't know, man. It was just the worst feeling I've ever felt, and it sucked.
Yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of the times, depending on how you hurt your back, like some people sometimes they'll think that they can put heat on it, and it will make it better, but that can actually make it worse.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, like, you know, what I would do honestly is like if it seems like it's continuing to be an issue, I completely ignore it. Like, I mean, from right out of high school, I was cleaning, so I was doing like a lot of like lifting and like, and you know, as time went on, my back started to get like just achy all the time.
Yeah.
And I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off, and it only got worse. And like, I mean, if it's something serious, obviously you'll want to go to a doctor, and you know, but like once you figure it out, after that, usually insurance pays for going to like a chiropractor where they, you know, like just cracking your back, because sometimes that helps.
Oof,
just getting your back cracked.
Yeah.
You know, afterwards. If it's something serious though, you want to go to an actual doctor.
Yeah. I mean, that's what my wife told me to do, is go to the chiropractor, and I just
do that last though. They're not doctors. Like they can actually make things worse if they don't know what they're doing. So
yeah.
But that, you know, that's a second thing I would do.
I'll be watching the chiropractor videos on YouTube, and I'll be like, "Ooh, that looks so relaxing. I'm ready to go fall asleep."
Dude, like we when me and my wife started the program of it, and like you at first you get like massages like every, you know, couple of weeks and stuff. It was amazing, but yeah.
Yes. Well, everybody, we're going to get into some gaming get downs. I'm actually going to start this week because
you're the only one that played anything.
and yes. So I want to talk about Darksiders Genesis. I have it on Nintendo Switch. The game just came out. You play as Strife in did I say it right? Strife. Not Skype. Strife in
Skype is the program we're using to make this podcast.
That is true. Strife in War. When you're playing single player, since I'm playing on Switch, there's a button that you can select to switch off, and everything. It's fine for right now. Not saying that like, oh, it's mind blowing or this is fun. It feels like isometric dungeon crawler, something like Diablo, and games of that nature. It really you see the aesthetic of Darksiders in it. Graphics, voice acting, even some of the controls and animation. It feels like a Darksiders game. So that's a little good positive. A lot of people are streaming it and co-oping with other players and stuff. So it really is a great game and everything. I'm kind of surprised that not many people are talking about it just yet, but I think probably because it just came out, people are trying to, you know, we'll probably pick it up sometime later. There is a physical.
I was gonna pick it up this week, but that the Bleeding Edge beta is this weekend, and I'm just like, well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll just play that this weekend and wait till next weekend to get Darksiders.
Yeah, Game Informer has an impression about it, but I haven't watched it yet because I really want to hear what people think about it.
Yeah, I've watched some stuff on it. I think IGN gave it an 8.7, so I mean it can't be that bad, right?
For Darksiders Genesis.
Yeah, like I do want to play it. I do want to. I think it looks cool, and I think Strife is. I think they're adding some comedic elements to it with him, and he's clearly, whenever they make a game with all four of them in it, he's clearly going to be the comic relief character. Kind of like Cade Six is in Destiny. That's exactly that's exactly who he reminds me of, is Cade Six from Destiny.
The voice acting almost sound the same.
Well, no, I think it is Nolan North, isn't it? Even though Cade 6 was Nathan Fillion, in the last expansion, Cade was Nolan North because Nathan Fillion was doing that cop show for ABC that got canceled. So,
yeah. If it was, I'll have to check. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, because you said Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
He sounded good in Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, I really love this voice. Something about it just like...
I mean, Cade 6 is Nathan Fillion. I mean, he's just Nathan Fillion. That's just how he acts, He was very... kind of just had that delivery and that,
But it has, like, a comedic tone to it. Like,
yeah. It's all about
the comedy actor or anything.
It's all about the delivery. He's more like I would say he's more like a 90s version of Han Solo, especially if whoever watched Firefly specifically. No, Nathan Fillion is kind of like a
series I need to watch.
I think it's a little overrated, but he's good in it. I don't know. I didn't really care for Firefly all that much. I see why it got canceled, to be honest.
Well, I seen the movie Serenity, which I thought was good, but I didn't get to see Firefly.
You watched Serenity before Firefly?
Yeah,
it was
backwards. I was just experimenting with different movies at Hollywood Video, and I had a free rental, so I just got it there. So I was just like, you know what? Let me try something sci-fi, because I never get no sci-fi movies. And Serenity was there. I'm like, this looks cool. I'll check it. Yeah. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Darksiders looks great. I can't wait to play it. I'm trying to because in a couple weeks I'm going on vacation. I'm trying to set my Switch up with some I'm trying to, because every time I turn on my consoles now, right, with Game Pass and how much stuff I have on Switch, and it's just like an overwhelming amount of games staring at me in the face that I haven't finished, right? And so I'm going through my games. I'm trying to delete games off of my consoles to make it less intimidating to pick what game I want to play, and. I kind of want to play Darksiders on vacation, I think. I think that's going to be my vacation game, but we'll see. But yeah, tell us about Darksiders. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no.
I interrupted you 45 times.
No, I only played about an hour of it. I was just trying to get a feel with it. And just I can't wait till I get back into this and everything. Because the other game I want to talk about is Snack World, a dungeon crawler. Is it? Yeah, Snack World, the Dungeon Crawler, the Dungeon Crawl Gold Edition. This is by Level 5 and published by Nintendo. Really fun and funny sexual innuendo game for kids and adults, because the king is shady as ever, and they know what the game is, so they're making fun of. Yes, this is a role-playing game. This is RPG 101. You should know how to this stuff. And it kind of feels like Fantasy Life that came on 3DS in a sense, but a little bit more production. Just very comedic, very fun. I've only played about 2 or 3 missions. Beautiful world. The game controls fantastic. The writing in here is maybe some of the best comedic writing in it, because it literally is funny. And it's like, daddy, I want it. It's just what is this voice acting? And you hear the voice.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like you hear it, you see it from this person, and what they're actually saying, because there's a lot of reading and stuff. You be like, this is. I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm laughing. But it's a really fun game. A lot of people did pick it up. And I gotta ask, did Darksiders Genesis get a physical version, or I know it has a box copy, but was there a physical game in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. I seen it, but I was just like, I was gonna buy it. I just decided to buy it digitally. I was gonna go to stores and look for it.
Ed bought a digital game. Whoa!
Holy cow! Stop the presses.
Welcome to 2009.
This just in.
Turn of the decade.
Yes, I decided to get digital or physical for this one, which is surprising.
You know what? I just thought of something. There's definitely a trend. Don't you still use like a iPod Touch or something to listen to podcasts?
It's just 10 years behind us.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yes,
he's just a little slow to adapt to new technology.
I mean, to be fair,
nothing wrong with that.
I did think about like keeping my old iPod just to like listen to podcasts and music and stuff, so my phone wouldn't die faster. But then I'm like, I don't feel like carrying two devices. So
yeah, I still have an iPod, my iPod somewhere.
Well, I have an
I'm
iTouch.
still mad though, because my the original one, I had one of the nice big ones, like the actual nice, really big ones.
Yeah.
That what my wife got me, and it had like a saying like that my wife put on it, engraved into it for me, and I had it in my car, and one morning I think it was Easter, something like that, or Thanksgiving or something. Mm-hmm. We woke up and someone broke into all of our cars that night, like because my wife's family was there, and of course they took my iPod. I was so mad.
Yeah, with my iTouch, yes, I do listen to podcasts. I do buy music and still buy physical media when I can. I usually turn on my Xbox with my iTouch, and it also lets me know, Jesse, when you're streaming or when you're streaming, and I get the notes and stuff. I listen to it more for the podcast at home and like in the car, but I also use my phone to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm not behind the times.
I'm joking. I'm giving you a hard time.
Well, I don't do the street. Oop.
What?
Oh.
But that's pretty much what I've been getting down to. Everybody can check out the Power Block on the stuff I've been getting down on that. Corey, what you been getting down to?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I've been trying to, like I said, catch up on our Pod and Play stuff. I've been tweaking some intros for our shows. I got Power Blocks done, although I do want to kind of tweak it a little bit. It's too slow. Like I need to get it in faster, right? Like I want our intros to be like maybe 10 to 15 seconds long at max. And I don't know, I like the idea of the Power Block one, but just watching it in front of it, because like I knew it was too long, but I wanted to watch it in front of an episode before I did anything to it, and that was kind of like the test run. So I don't know, I like it, but I think it needs some cutting down. So I've been working on that stuff and finishing up Pod and Play stuff. But I did play a little bit of what did I play a little bit of? Let me see. Earlier this week, I downloaded the update for Fire Emblem. I think I'm going to go back through and play it again. There's like 3 games on Switch that I just can't get out of my head, that I just want to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. It's obviously Fire Emblem and Zelda. And then I actually played a little bit of Mario Odyssey last night.
Ooh.
I don't know why I had the urge to play Mario last night, but I was just like, before we started it, I was hooking everything up, and I was like, before you get on, I'm just gonna play a little bit of something. And I jumped into Mario Odyssey, got like 3 power moons, and I'm like, okay, that's good. But like, I'm still having that issue where my Pro controllers like the input lag on my Pro controllers is really bad, and I don't know if it's because I'm still playing on my old TV. I haven't really played Switch on my new TV all that much, but like it just feels bad. I don't know why. I just don't know why it feels that bad, but it's just I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. But I mean, that's kind of. Oh, I played a little bit more of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I finally got to like a main story beat in that game. The concert in the middle of the city. I finally got to that part of the game, and it finally felt like I was actually playing the game instead of just running through a tutorial a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. So I have been playing that, and it's probably the game I'm going to be focusing on for now until something else comes along, until I get Darksiders or something. So, but I've been setting my Switch up to play a bunch of games for the rest of the year for the Boss Rush Challenge. So,
Yes.
Got me some Dragon Quest XI on there. Got me some Luigi's Mansion 3 re-downloaded. Got Bayonetta 1 and 2, Xenoblade Chronicles, Valkyria Chronicles 4. So,
A game that I still need to buy.
Oh, also today for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, I started up Breath of the Wild, and I started up Master Mode. Oh boy, dude! As soon as you walk out of the cave and you turn to walk down the hill, there are 3 floating platforms with bogoblins on them. No, and they're not like the easy ones that you can take down. They're the white ones that like have extra health and extra armor. And when you run down the hill, there's a Lionel standing there.
What the world?
In between you and the old man. So I was like, oh jeez, I don't know. I don't know. Might just restart the regular game. I do want to restart that game at some point.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so I did. I forgot that because I started Master Mode a while ago, and I didn't save it, so I never really got into it, and I forgot that was a thing. Like as soon as you get out of the cave, like there's a rusty sword to the left, and then when you go to the right, there's a Lionel and like 3 floating platforms with guys shooting arrows at you, and you're like, boy, this probably should have been a mode I started like right after I finished the main game 2 years ago. So
that's one thing, like, just kind of looking back on that, and I mean, they did a good job. I just hope with 2 though that they tighten up the combat and stuff just a little bit.
I mean, it's like what Ray and I were talking about with Hellblade. Like, I wouldn't mind a Zelda game with like less combat, to be honest. Like, I understand like the game is super combat. Like you need to have combat in that game, and I'm not saying eliminate combat completely, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. I've been steering more towards like turn-based games and RPG style games and puzzle games, and it's like as I get older, I just don't have the patience to learn that kind of stuff anymore, and it's like I almost would like Hellblade. I would almost rather that Hellblade didn't have any combat, and like I'm starting to feel that way about a lot of games now. It's really sad that I feel that way, but I do. So I also watched the opening cutscene of the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle Donkey Kong Country Adventure, which was cool, but I didn't play it.
I haven't played that yet either. I don't think.
I just like I'm looking at my Switch screen right now, and there's just 2 there. It's not only are there so many games staring at me in the face, there are too many games. And like I feel like the last few years, like especially doing Power Block and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've gotten so caught up in the hype of all the games that I wanted to play that I didn't sit and think about like maybe you shouldn't buy this until you finish something you're working on right now. To the point where like I'm staring and there's probably like
because
there's just 2.
You guys haven't finished Mario Rabbids yet, have you?
No, I
literally have it. Dude, I carry it around me every day, and I don't know why I don't pop it in to start it. Oh, it's on my backlog.
So Yeah, I'm just like, why do I have so many games? I just wish I had the fortitude to just sit down and play one and stop. Like, oh man, look at this icons. Look at all these icons. Look how many icons I have on my Switch. I'm like, let's delete some stuff. Let's do I really need Oceanhorn on here anymore? No. No.
Yeah, no.
Do I need
I was gonna buy that, and then I was like, I talked myself out of getting it because
I
like,
wouldn't.
I don't really need it.
I wouldn't get it. It's like, I mean,
No,
now that we have a proper 2D Zelda on the Switch, and there's plenty of other games. Not that it's a bad game, but it was like the mobile Zelda game, right? Like it started on iPhones, and like it was the mobile Zelda game, and it was nice to have on a phone, right? I'm assuming that's not where I played it, but then when it came to Switch, it just felt like too simple of a Zelda game. Like it's a pretty game, it's a nice game, it's a nice simple Zelda game, but yeah, and so I like one indie game that I really wanted to get back to was The Messenger, so I re-downloaded that, and like I played Trials Rising for what 3 hours maybe, and I'm like, I got my fill of that, so why do I still have it on here? And it's like, well, just in case I want to like get real angry after 30 seconds, I'll pop on Trials, right?
Oh, Trials Rising, those games always hook me, and then I'm sitting there, and next thing I know, I'm playing for like hours.
Like I like.
I could just sit and play those like every single day.
I like Trials a lot until I don't. Right, like that's like the appeal of Trials is like I get so far, and then I'll just be like get really mad after like 30 seconds of a track that's super hard, and I'm like, I'm good till like, I don't know, the next one.
Yeah, this is like my problem is sometimes like like you guys know that like for instance Black Ops 4, like I was just kept on going to that game like for that whole year when it came out, and then like my problem is trying to make sure, and actually haven't had problems doing it now, but like I'm actually playing different stuff and doing different stuff, and like that was my problem, was just trying to get out of only sticking with one game, but at the same time, like, because like and I'm kind of having that issue right now with like what I've been playing.
Yeah.
Which was that it, Ed, then? Or I mean Corey?
Yeah, I mean I haven't I haven't really been playing anything. I've just been I the one thing too is like, sorry, I don't mean to keep going on like this, but like after this past week, I'm just like, there's so many things I would really like to do that I just don't have the time to do anymore. Like I want to stream, right? Like that's one thing I really want to get back to is streaming. And like by the time, I get home from work and hang out with my wife and the kid goes down and probably have something to work on, right? Like I just don't have time to do it. And like I'm making time, like I'm writing out my schedule, right? That's why, Ed, I've asked you for your schedule this week and stuff, like so I can figure out, okay, well, I want to stream this day, I want to stream this day, I want to stream this day, I want to work on stuff this day, I want to record a show this day. And it's just like, man, I don't know. And between that and like talking to people through Twitter and trying to get guests for 1v1 and this show and Pow Block and Arsenal X, and like I'm just like, it's not that I'm overwhelmed, it's just like I don't have any time for free time, and that kind of has been challenging this past 2 weeks, but
yeah. Well, the thing is though too, like, again, and people, we understand, and I'm sure everyone understands, but like, when you got kids and you've got other things that always have to be, first on your thoughts, a lot of the times it's like,
like I would love to quit my job and do this like 8 or 10 hours a day, right? Like, because that was what it would take to do everything that I would love to do, right? But it's just, that's not an option at this point. So I have to work with the 2 or 3 hours I have after my wife goes to bed. If I'm not, falling asleep at the desk, I have to pick one thing that night and focus on it. And then, I don't have I find myself not having the energy to stay up till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and then get up at 6 to go to work. Right. Like I just don't have that kind of energy anymore. Yeah. And with my job, it's so physical too. Right. Like carrying car parts is not an easy, like I work in a shipping and receiving department. Like carrying heavy car parts is not exactly a easy task.
Yes.
So no. I don't know. I've just been really trying to, now that we kind of have a thing going, like I'm trying to find the most efficient way to do it so I can find some free time in there to do other things. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing is, even though we've been doing this for a little bit, it's, a lot of it is still pretty new. Majority of what we're doing is still pretty new. So, we'll just work together and try to figure things out,
Yeah. I mean, it would,
that's the thing, at least it's something we're enjoying doing and having fun doing, it's not, we just got to figure things out. But.
Plus, like, the other thing that's really been making me mad lately, sorry, I don't mean to keep going on a rant to say that I'm mad about something, but like any video recently over like an hour long that I've been trying to process, like the process system fails about 60% of the time. So I'll have to like double and triple up on files just to make sure one of them works out correctly, which is weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's just this weird thing that's been happening like the last 2 weeks. So I don't know, because like what I usually do is like, Ed, when we record Pow Block on Monday, right? Like I will usually, like, after we hang up, I will throw the file into the movie editor, the video editor, and get the intro and kind of clean up the audio a little bit and stuff, right? Like I'll edit it and then I'll have it process overnight, right? The audio and the video, I'll have them process overnight. So the next morning I'll just upload, like I'll upload it while I'm at work and come home, write descriptions, do end tags on videos, which is something I've really been trying to do more lately on YouTube, like have those end videos where like, oh, did you like this video? Click on this one, whatever, and it just, I couldn't upload Pow Block until Thursday night because the video just wouldn't process.
Okay.
So it was weird. Not that like, it's that important, but I try to make it in my head that it's important. So.
All right. Well, Jesse, what games have you been getting out to?
So yeah, I did actually start Tomb Raider, Shadow of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, great game.
I had started it a while. I started it a while back, and I forgot that I had started it already. So like I played it for a couple of minutes. Like I think Monday or something like that, or it might have even been Sunday night. But it was the part where like you don't have any. I don't think you have any arrows or anything, and like you jump down in this area, and then there's a tiger or something that's attacking you.
Yeah.
Or a mountain lion or something.
It's a jaguar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so then you've got a quick like dodge them and stuff, and then try to find stuff to build arrows so you can try to take them out. And I ended up finishing them off with my knife, But I just finished that part because I was struggling a little bit because I was trying to figure out where things were to make some arrows and things like that. So yeah, I just finished that part basically, and then I was done for the day. But I've been actually going back to Anthem. I'm actually enjoying just going in and just flying around and looking, scavenging for things and and there's still, it's not really story stuff, but like after you finish the game, there's like you still do things like missions and things for some of the people, but it's like it's goes towards another like thing of it's like just there's something that you can unlock once you have to like finish all these different kinds of missions. I think you need to do 100 or something of each, and then I think that goes into the end game stuff. So basically, you're just doing all that stuff to try to level your character up more and more and more. And it's just like piddly side mission stuff. But I'm actually really enjoying that game because, like I said before, I like playing Destiny.
Yes.
And and like other games like that and Division and stuff like that too. But I just like how like Anthem is kind of in a way, in my opinion, very similar to Division, where it's very basic. It's like you get loot drops, and those guns have certain abilities or whatever different stats. And that, like, it's just that's it. Like, you're not having to like do anything to try to like get all these different things you got to add on to a weapon to try to make it something else. And like that's where Destiny loses me, when it starts getting like with the complex, like all these things that you got to try to worry about on a weapon in order to be able to make it better, or there's just a whole bunch of things like that. And I don't have enough time to be worrying about that kind of stuff. I want to just play the game, and Anthem has just been really good for that, is just being able to, I can jump on, I can play it, I can level all my guns and my everything up, a couple of levels, and bring my character, up a couple of levels. I'm finally in rare status of my javelin.
Yeah.
My first javelin is rare now because it's got all blue and I have some purple.
Nice.
Yeah, some purple things on it.
What javelin are you using? Just the Ranger?
Yeah, the Ranger. Like,
it's so weird because for some reason they made it such a big deal of like all these, they all have different powers and stuff. And when I was playing, like the Ranger, like the base unit is my favorite unit.
Yeah.
Like I like the Colossus too, but like I actually re-downloaded Anthem because Jesse, you and I are gonna be playing it tomorrow night, I think, on stream. But yeah, I really like the Ranger the most.
That's who I started out with. I'll be with the Ranger.
Yeah, he's just so versatile, and like I tried playing the tank, the like the bigger one, but I just it just did not do it for me. I'm just not that kind of player, though.
You want to know what's weird though? Is that we all, when they first showed Anthem, we was all deciding who was going to play. We all had different ones, and it was just like, when you actually start the game, if you started as the Ranger, you kind of feel like you don't want to play as nobody else because it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I think that's one of the things they need to fix about it, is they need to make a reason for you to want to play those other characters, because I feel like the differences in those are a little lackluster. I think what my problem is I really like the whole cannon things. On your shoulder, and I believe that he's the Ranger's the only one who gets that. Like, in my opinion, I think that all of them should have that, but then the Rangers' abilities or whatever could be different. Like they could have some kind of other ability that makes it different. I don't think it should be the cannon, the shoulder cannon thing. I think that should be for all of, they should all have that.
Yeah. I kind of wish like I kind of wish the Ranger was almost like the only unit, and then you could like build on your Ranger from there, right? Like if you want something that's kind of built like the Colossus, you add armor and bigger chest plates and arm plates and arm cannons and stuff to make it more like the Colossus was, or like if you want a quicker character, you kind of use you don't use like armor pieces. You could use lighter armor or like whatever kind of material to make yourself lighter and faster, but you're obviously going to take more damage, right? Like I wish they would have done something that way.
Doesn't Destiny kind of do that? Like, cause like certain things that you put on will like reduce your speed.
There's different
of your movement or something.
There's different mods that you can add to different armor pieces to like, okay, well, I'm more resistant to solar, which is especially useful when you go to do the Nightfall and the burn is solar, which it's great when you have a solar weapon, but when you're fighting the Cabal and they're using rockets and stuff, like obviously they're going to kill you in 1 or 2 hits because the burn is solar. So if you add the mods to your armor that's solar resistant, it feels more like you're playing the regular game instead of these mods affecting how the game is being played.
Yeah. Which actually the thing is Anthem actually does do that too. But all those resistant to fire and all that stuff are part of the mod things that you like. Certain mod things or certain guns have like give you certain abilities and things like that as well.
Which I kind of want to break in a news story that they're focusing a longer term with with Anthem. And so, what did you guys think that? Well, first of all, how long do you think it's going to take for them to bring out some new stuff, and what do you expect them to bring out?
They're not gonna bring any new stuff. They're gonna work on remaking it, and they're gonna keep on redoing like some of their event things. But for now, Anthem is what it is, and because they want to focus on actually making it better.
Yeah.
So they did it in a way where they can continue to kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just enough for the people who are still playing it and do enjoy it. But one person can be changing the events or whatever, then they can focus on actually working on what they want to do with the game to fix it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I really want to see them nail that, because like I think the game is big enough by itself, right?
Yes.
To warrant, like, and then it I think the game honestly is in better shape than Destiny 1 was when it launched, right? Now, granted, I think the gameplay loop of Destiny was a little bit better than this is, but I think like the base that Anthem has is better than what Destiny had when it launched. It's just getting people into a gameplay loop. Like Destiny had strikes and a raid and all and a multiplayer suite, which Anthem clearly doesn't have. I hope Anthem gets into a better flow of what they want the player to be doing when they're not doing missions, right? Especially like in-game stuff. Now I get the mission structure of the campaign will probably still be there, where you go to one place, take out a bunch of enemies, activate something, fly to the next place, whatever. But like, it's what you're doing after the campaign that I hope changes, right? Like, like there's a Destiny did this thing in Destiny 2 called Raid Layers, where it's basically a small version of a raid where it's more like one encounter and like a puzzle and then a boss, right? I hope Anthem sees something like that where, we've discovered a new cavern in the northern section of the map, and if you fly there, you go down there and you have to solve puzzles with your team, and then you take on this massive boss, kind of thing. And I think that would be really neat to do, and you know, adjust like the difficulty level depending on what kind of gear you're going for or whatever. And like I don't think
because they've already got a lot of that, you know, in there already. There's so many different tiers of you know of levels of how, you know, how difficult you want.
It's almost like the
be.
world tiers in the division, right?
Yeah.
Where like you know, once you get past this, the game gets harder because you've progressed to that status. I want Anthem to like, and I know a lot of the complaints were like, oh well, all the weapons look the same, and it's like, well, if you play Destiny, every green and blue weapon that you used, a lot of them look the same. They're just painted a different color, or you know, this scout rifle might have a square scope instead of a round scope, right? Like, but it's still the same weapon with stat differences. It's where Anthem kind of falls off is where like their legendary, and I'm just going to use Destiny terms, their exotic weapons still looked and felt like the greens and the blues that you were finding.
Yes.
And I think if they found a unique way to, like similar to what Destiny 2 did, like if you, like they make a unique, cool weapon, right? And they have the community solve puzzles together the way that Destiny does, right? Like the big thing towards the end of Destiny 1 was Outbreak Prime, which was a really cool exotic weapon that the community found out if you solve this puzzle within the Rise of the Machines raid. That's not what it was called. I don't know. The last raid that they put out, Rise of the Machines. I feel like that's like a Terminator movie.
It is. Yeah, I think it is. Right.
But it, like, you had to solve a binary code and solve it with your raid team to open up this big, like, building in the middle where there's a treasure chest inside where you unlocked the weapon, which was really cool. And the community found that. Bungie didn't post anything about it. I'm sure they leaked a few things to like popular streamers and whatever, and like they started doing that, right? Like I think Dado was the first one to find it, but like that's something really cool and really unique. And I want Anthem to take that blueprint and like, okay, we have a stronghold here, right? You can go in with your team, fight through the stronghold, fight the boss, get cool gear, upgrade stuff, whatever. But if you go left instead of right, it'll take you down the secret hallway, and there's a huge puzzle that the community might have to solve together. It might take 2 or 3 weeks to solve as a community, but if you go in there, you get a really cool sniper rifle or a really cool assault rifle or something, right? Like,
yes.
That's something that they could look at, and I know they want to get the gameplay loop down and everything, right? But like, while you're getting that done, right? Like you could have a small team over here saying, okay, while they're working on this gameplay loop, what can we add to the world besides the cataclysmic events that will
new content lore?
Yeah, like give people something to chase, right? Like that's the big thing in Destiny. There's always something to chase, whether it's well thought out or not. Like that's all opinion, right? But like, there's always something to chase.
Do you think they need to up the player count there for that?
No.
Like maybe like up to 8 player, or still the 4 player?
No, I think 4
component.
players. I think 4 players fine, right? Like I think Destiny. Well, the
Destiny
raids.
does.
Yeah, I think the thing is too is they like, I don't know. Yeah, like you can definitely, they got to make it where you can pick your like how hard it is, because the thing is like, you know, unless you're really really good at stuff in Destiny, like a lot of those you know, things are pretty hard.
Well,
but
that's what I was going to ask you, Corey. Like, how many players for that puzzle does it say?
You could just have like your 4-player team, right? Like you need a full team, but you can design it around 4 of you can, like, to me, I think the raids in Destiny to get 6 players is a lot of work, right? Like that's just that's a lot. Right, like, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of a raid team for such a long time that we would solve the raids and stuff, and we would get them down to a science, right? Like we got King's Fall down to like 37 minutes. We got the Wrath of the Machine raid. That's what it's called, Wrath of the Machine. We got that down to under an hour, right? Like we we all had our specific jobs, we all had our specific duties. We would run the raid 3 times a week and get all the stuff, right? Like that was our weekly routine for a while. And but you know, as our raid team kind of split off, some people had kids, some people got married, some people just don't have the time to put that effort into Destiny anymore, right? Like me, it gets too hard. So I think if you design something around 3 or 4 players to really get in there, and I know Destiny has like LFG and looking for groups, and there's ways to find people to help you if you need to, right? I'm not saying that, but like I want Anthem's end game to be easier and more approachable, at least.
Yes.
It can be as hard as you want it to be. I don't care about the difficulty, right? Like I think you need to earn the stuff that, like the highest tier stuff, you need to be able to earn, right? Or you just don't get it. Like that's something people complain about in Destiny also. And to me, it's like, well, if you don't play the game enough and you're not good enough at the game, then you're just not going to get it. That's perfectly fine with me. I know I'm kind of like on the minority of that, but I think if you're not willing to dedicate the time and find players to help you with it, and you're not good enough, you're just not going to get it, right? Like Outbreak Perfected, it was the last really weird or big exotic I was going for in Destiny. Me and my friend Mitch tried to get it. I think, Jesse, you tried to join us once or twice, maybe?
Yeah, that one where we had to try to rush through that area like really quick, and then you got to try to get there and beat the boss really quick.
Yeah. And it like we didn't get it because we weren't high enough light level. We just weren't good enough, right? Like I'm sure we are now, because I think the light level for that is only 400 or 500, and now everybody's above 750. But like, you know what I mean? Like if you're not good enough, you shouldn't be able you shouldn't just be rewarded for like popping the game and saying I'm here, right? Like I think you need to be able to have some sort of skill to achieve what you want to achieve.
I think that you have to start from the beginning with everybody else, and as you play along, you get stronger. You know, like if you jump into a game, you start at the beginning of the mission with completely random people. Talking about Anthem. Because Destiny has such a different design on how they do things. Anthem feels like it's more simplified. To a degree,
but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of like kind of just things that exist in the lore and stuff of Anthem that can be used to make something turn it into something unique. Like you know, like you played through the story. I remember those like triangle key type things that they had. Like they can do more with that, and like I was just thinking like while you guys were talking, like one cool like unique thing that they could do with Anthem that, you know, like Destiny, I mean, I guess they could technically do it in some way, but like I was thinking, because of the fact that you can fly in Anthem, like that's one thing I really hope that they change. I hope that they change that you can just fly as long as you want
without having all that crew.
Because
I think that's the only criticism of the flying, is that like the flying is so fun. Why are you making me stop every 20 seconds to cool down?
Yeah, and in my opinion, they could actually use the flying to their advantage to do something unique that none of the other games with service or whatever could do.
That would be probably a good side quest that you have to work hard to get parts to have infinite flying.
Well, I mean,
they do have things that upgrade, but
it could be, but like, I feel like. I don't know.
Well, that should such be part of the end game. I think there should be like once you finish the story, that unlocks.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, maybe it's like you can get it earlier if you're good enough, right? And do like make it as part of a side quest for the story, but make it like, okay, well, I have to finish this quest to get it, right? And then like it's not like a hard quest or anything, right? You just unlock it and do it, right? So I don't know, but Jesse, I like what you said. Anthem is unique because of the verticality that you can use in either puzzle solving or making unique environments or unique boss battles, right? Like that's something that Destiny has a lot of puzzles that are vertically, like you have to use the verticality in Destiny to solve them, but like you can only do so much with a double or triple jump, or you can only do so much by running upstairs or doing first person platforming, which is the worst thing in video games. I think with Anthem, you could really do some really unique things. Like I think in terms of third person games, like the Division's raids and puzzle solving aren't really that fun at all because you can't even jump, let alone fly. And I think that's what Anthem has to its advantage. And it's, I don't think, like I've said this before, and I would like to go back to Anthem, like kind of, and finish the campaign before they reboot it or whatever, remake it or whatever, just to like say that I finished it and see the story out and everything. But like, I don't think Anthem is as bad as people say it is. Right. Like
I didn't feel like it was a bad game.
I don't think it's a good game, but I don't think it's bad. Like I think it's just an okay third person shooting game with awesome flying mechanics, right? There are things that were annoying, like I have to go back to the base to upgrade my suit and stuff, which I know they changed, right? Like I think you can add guns to your arsenal without having to go back now, right? But like
and it's kind of fun being in the air shooting. When you're just standing there, because I'm like, it feels good that whether you're on the ground covering or in the air, like nothing really changes besides the perspective, but it just feels good. And you're just in the mind frame of like, wow, I don't want to stop, but at points I have to.
Yeah, see, and what I was getting to like before is that like they have the opportunity where they could have like bosses that also fly, and I was thinking what they could really do is they could do the whole Fortnite thing, where like you could have like bosses where like there's a new boss in a certain area, kind of like what Corey was saying, where you have like a dungeon type thing where you have to go against that boss and that area gets destroyed in the process of taking out that boss, and that part of the world is now permanently affected.
In a way that was supposed to be in a part of the game, because when they showed the trailer, that stuff was in there, and then it never showed up. So they may bring it back. I could see that happening. I would love for that to happen.
The cataclysms, you mean? Because the cataclysms do happen. Still,
I think it was before that. I think it was just like a normal part of the game. Like there was just wild animals in it. I would have to look at the trailer again, but I know there was just like big animals that was in the game, and you was literally shooting them and stuff.
There's the cataclysms.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
because I know some of them were in the main campaign, or they're in the main campaign as like an end boss. But when if you're just like doing an expedition and then just flying around, that would be cool to just run into like a wild animal and just have this fight. And if you and your team actually defeat them, you get something for it. And I think something like that,
something cool, like not just like a upgraded gun of something that you already have. I think that's the part of the gameplay loop they need to fix, is like you're fighting these big monsters in the open world and they're not really giving you anything that's different than what you're using. I think, I mean, like, and that's why there's tiers of weapons for a reason, right? Like, I think you can get like a cool legendary weapon out of these monsters in the open world, or like, you know what I mean, depending on what world tier you're at. And then their versions of exotics, you have to solve the puzzles and the hardest stuff. Not necessarily the hardest stuff in the game, but you have to solve like unique puzzles or do unique things to get them. Like I think that's where the frustration comes from the fan base, is like there's nothing, like I said earlier, there's nothing really to chase or make the chase challenging.
Yeah, well, I mean, like for me,
you got the last word, Jesse, because we're gonna move on.
For me, like honestly, like I, as far as the gun stuff goes, I really don't have much of a problem with it. But I think that's the thing is the people who are complaining and criticizing this game the most are the people that like, just they want to like literally just have a game that they can just play like nonstop every single day, and that be the game that they play. And I personally like, I like it the way it is. I like, and I find it perfectly fine just, chasing for those different colored versions of the gun that I like, because I know that it's going to be better, and it's going to have, better stats, and it's going to, it's going to be a better version of what I already enjoy. It's very similar to playing Halo for me. Like imagine if you could get like better versions of the battle rifle that like have better stats, that do more damage, that do like, that's how I look at this game.
Gonna be. I think that's exactly how Infinite is going to be. It's going to be you're going to have almost a Destiny style Halo game, not to the extent of Destiny, right? But like I think you're going to have to like, oh well, this like they're going to have attachments to the weapons where, okay, well this battle rifle has a ×2 scope, but I found a ×5 scope on the ground, and I can add it to it to make the distance farther, right? Or, you can add an extended magazine to make your clips bigger or something. Like, I think that they're going to try to add that stuff into Halo also.
Yeah. And see, and that's almost how I look at the way Anthem is set up right now. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, because once you do get into the gold or the yellow colored guns, they do look quite a bit different than your regular other stuff. But for the most part, a lot of the guns are pretty much the same. The colors just determine either it only has 2 stats for like your basic or rare, and then it's got 3 stats for your purple, and then 4 stats or 5 stats for gold. Like, so like, even though the gun looks the same, it still improves a lot of things, and it's like they at least put a lot of stuff into making you want to have those better stats and those better, cooldowns, and better, ammo reserve, and better, like all those things, and like resistance to fire, like, or your shield lasts 13% longer, or like all those things are all tied into every little piece that you pick up, and I just really like it that way, versus having to like screw around with things and like like put those stats on guns or stats on things yourself. Like, I just like not having to worry about it, and just kind of, like I said, just play the game. And and that can be a problem with a lot of the other ones. So,
well, I say let's play more Anthem. We'll have more of this conversation next time when we come back, because I think once because I've been returning to Anthem. Corey, I can't wait for you to play more and finish it. Yeah. I think the more that we dig into it, the more we will realize some stuff and have this discussion. Because I kind of wanted to have more discussion about Anthem.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, you and I will have a big discussion. If you guys are watching live, you can probably watch us here tomorrow night playing Anthem, and it's going to be our pod and play episode this season, right? Like, I think we have a lot more to discuss about Anthem, because it does have the potential to be something unique and great, right? Like, I think the base is there, right? Like, I think I think the base is there. I just think it needs some work.
And it's about to hit 1 year, so but we're going to get
everybody likes a comeback.
Yes. We're going to get into these 2 stories for some good news bits, and then we're going to answer Megan Green's question for last episode. 2K has announced that Eternal developer 2K Silicon Valley will now be known as 31st Union, with progress already underway on an unannounced new IP. Alongside the new studio name, 31st Union is also starting up a European division based in Spain. Although no details have been announced just yet about 31st game, Tyler McCall, head of strategy at 31st Union, Jr. generally described the studio's approach to the project in a press release. He says, "We believe diverse perspectives and experiences are crucial to creating a truly global entertainment experience with a deep connection to passionate fans." Okay, I got lost when he said that. I'm just like, that doesn't say nothing about the game. That
I mean, if they're just starting a new studio, like their game's not going to be out for at least 4 years, right? Like, I mean,
they're just changing their name. They're just changing their name.
Well, I mean, yeah, but still, that usually means like something is changing, like a bigger change than just a name, right? Like, I think. I don't know, man. Whatever. I think it's fine. If you want a unique name for your studio, that's fine. Like, I just feel like every time somebody changes the name of a studio, that studio ends up closing within like 3 or 4 years.
Ooh. And this is their internal studio, so it's just like, I
don't know. It's a little worrisome, but like, I mean, not that it's gonna close, right? Like, I just, good luck, I guess.
Jesse, any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, yeah, I sometimes you wonder if maybe it's just because, like with some of the things going on lately and everything, like maybe they just want to try to get a fresh start. Just kind of, I don't know. It's that's the thing is like things change. Like it seems like companies and like game devs and like they're constantly changing and names are changing and it's like a lot of times it's like I don't even pay attention to it anymore. It seems to happen so much.
I mean,
you have your big things like people leaving, like really really big names leaving studios and going somewhere else like we talked about last week, but other than that it's like it's too much. There's just too much of that stuff happens, it seems like, to worry about all of it.
I feel like we're getting that point where studios want their studio names to mean something now as opposed to like I mean, you look at how popular Naughty Dog is, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they would love to have a different name for their studio than Naughty Dog, right? Like in the 90s, like when that studio started, like that's a funny name for a studio, but also game development was just like by the seat of their pants back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, Naughty Dog is such a respected developer, but if you think of the actual name Naughty Dog, like you just think of like these little chihuahuas humping each other. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably not the name that they would like that studio to have, but it has such brand recognition now that like, it would be hard for Naughty Dog to change their name now. And so I think if one of these studios has a hit now, one of these newer studios or rebranded studios gets a hit, they want to have a name that you could be kind of proud of almost,
Yes.
Not to say that Sony isn't proud of Naughty Dog, but also
Nerd Dog. Nerd Dog.
Well, we're going to get into the last story. Patrick Games open to wonderful one-on-one sequel as long as fans show their support. And me and Corey did discuss this on Power Block, so you guys can check that out. In the same interview with Nintendo Everything, prior to the reveal of the wonderful one-on-one remaster, Patrick Games head Sushi Inaba said the developer was open to a follow-up provided fans showed their support for the remaster. He states, in regards to a sequel or something, we can't make one if there aren't any fans for the series in the first place. So if fans support this and things go really well for the wonderful one-on-one, then I say it's pretty natural that we want to make another game in the series. Last weekend, the wonderful one-on-one remaster surpassed his 1.5 million Kickstarter stretch goal, which unlocked Luca's first mission and 2 more stretch goals. So, Jesse, I want to get your opinion first before me and Corey say anything.
For me, like honestly, I don't have a lot to say because I've never played the game. There's a lot of they have quite a few games that they've done, but I'm not really very familiar with a lot of their stuff because I just haven't really played
Like, okay.
stuff that they make. So
Well, Corey, did you have any more opinions about this? That the way that me and you discussed it on Power Block.
I mean,
Any more?
they clearly want to make a sequel to this game, right? And there's clearly support for the second game, so that tells me like they probably already have a team working on a sequel, right? Like I like this is what kind of like I'm happy that Platinum gets to put their games on other platforms, right? I'm happy that Wonderful 101 got the support that it probably deserved on the Wii U and never got, you know, because it was on the Wii U. As big of a defender of the Wii U as I am, and Ed is, like, the system just... There's a lot of games stuck on that system that will probably never get a second life because of who developed it or, you know, just so many different things. And that's what makes me really upset that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess aren't on the Switch yet, especially Wind Waker, because now Wind Waker... Wind Waker is the game that's stranded now on the two worst-selling Nintendo consoles of all time, right? Like... that game just can't catch a break. But anyways, back to Wonderful 101, like that game to me is okay. Like I think it's okay. It's unique. It's something different. Do we need a sequel? Like I don't know. I'd rather see a sequel to Vanquish, or unless it's like a super passion project for them and they want like I would rather see them do something with Vanquish or another Nier game, or you know something whatever this Babylon's Fall is, or finish Bayonetta. Like I would rather see them do something like that, unless this is like a super passion project for them that they really feel like they have more stories to tell in this universe. But like I don't know, unless they kickstart it and see a lot of passion for it. Like I don't know if this game really needs a sequel. You know, I don't know.
And a lot of people, feel like it would be better if Beautiful Joe got a sequel, if Okami got a sequel. But
yeah, but those are Capcom games, and I very doubt that they're gonna do sequels to those games. You know, I mean, like unless Capcom did it themselves, right? They're not gonna get Platinum to do them.
Well, like I said, Platinum used to be the host, most of the team of Clover, which was a Capcom, after Capcom closed. So you would think that, you know, if y'all work together or decide to...
Yeah, but they left Capcom for a reason, right? Like, not that, like, it would upset anybody if they did do it, but, like, I feel like if you leave Capcom, you're not going to go back and do something for Capcom. You know what I mean?
Even though Capcom, I think, is in a different business mind right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the researchers with Capcom that we've been talking about on Pod to Play with some of the games, you guys will be able to hear those discussions. Is that, you know, it's good that what's going on for them now is happening, but because of that good resurgence, past titles that didn't do so well may never get looked at again.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be, we had a question about this on Power Block, like if there was other developers doing this, like doing a Kickstarter, who would we want and everything. And we gave our answers to that. More people probably would feel like it's not the developers, it's the games. Mm-hmm. And if you take a page out of Sega's book, like letting these other developers and indie like .emu and them doing some of their old classics and putting them out and they making a profit, people are loving their games. People want to see more of that happening. Yeah. In a sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just, you know, I don't know. I just feel like Platinum has, they have so many different. They very clearly specialize in one thing, right? And that's fast-paced action, high-quality action games, right? Even their B-tier teams who made Ninja Turtles and Transformers and Korra, like they were still in that same mold of fast action, right? To see, like I said, unless there's a team there that's super passionate about the Wonderful 101, like, I don't know if that's where their strengths lie anymore, is something like Okami or Wonderful 101 or Beautiful Joe. You know, like, I just, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to get into the last section of the show. We're going to answer last week's question from Megan Green. And you guys could also send us questions on Twitter, on YouTube, hit us on the Facebook page, and also email us at bossrushgamespro@gmail.com. She asks, how did you guys think Rockstar would change now that one of the Hauser brothers is gone? And I kind of actually want to expand this to more of when creators or high level talent at different game studios leave, how does a project change? I for one, I don't think Rockstar will change.
See,
I
I think they'll change immensely. I think they're going to
well,
shift focus to, like, I don't know if we're going to get the, here. I'm going to preface this. I'm going to hold on before you say anything.
uh-huh.
I'm going to preface this by saying, and I'm not 100% sure how Jesse feels, but Ed and I don't really care for Rockstar games, right? Like we don't, but I'm going to try to look at this because clearly some Grand Theft Auto sold over 120 million copies. Red Dead just announced that they sold over 30 million copies. These games are clearly popular, right?
Yes.
And they've been popular because of the single player content that they've had. Now, Grand Theft Auto has spawned Grand Theft Auto Online, which has made them a cajillion dollars, right? Like, it just, something phenomenal is happening with that online space. But like, Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead specifically have been built on these single player story driven narrative campaigns with characters that people care about, with narratives that people care about, with just themes and jokes and satire that people care about. And they don't just do a joke and then end with it, right? They'll go 1,000% with, in Grand Theft Auto, you can sit on a couch and watch a TV and you'll see that joke play out there. You'll hear radio shows from Laszlo about this joke. You'll hear people talk about things on the side of the street that have to do with this, like the entire thing. And, with Red Dead, there's very, very clear things in there too, where like the writing in those games is what pushed those games to the forefront and why people hold those games to such a high regard. And if your narrative lead, who has been there since Grand Theft Auto London, right? I mean, he founded the company, but really involved in a writing capacity since Grand Theft Auto London. And he's been such a major part of Grand Theft Auto, Bully, Manhunt, Red Dead, like all these games that people love from PS2 and onward.
Hitman.
Like,
was he in Hit? Did he write
No.
for Hitman?
No.
Okay.
Hitman is completely different.
Yeah. It's like you're taking such a big part of that company to where I think, last year 2K said that they wanted to put Grand Theft Auto out every 2 or 3 years. They think that they're spending too much money and time on these games, even though they're making them $1 bajillion, right? The Red Dead team at the end of the run was over 1,000 people. Like, that's even for Rockstar, like that is too many people to be working on one game at a time, right? Like,
yes,
Ubisoft in their credits, like, I know they're structured differently, but they have 1,000 people work on like 5 or 6 different games, and they'll use the different tech that these people are working on in these other games, right? That's why some of their games feel pretty similar, like Ghost Recon and The Division and Assassin's Creed all kind of look and feel similar, even though they're different games, right?
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like this is just such a big part of the company that's just gone now. And, say what you will about Grand Theft Auto and how you feel about it or whatever. I don't really care for Grand Theft Auto, but I see, especially the PS2 trilogy, what it really did for games, right? And like expanding and making it an open style world that you can do a lot of things in, right? Like, it's just, I feel like Rockstar as we know it, and we won't know probably for 3 or 4 years, right? At least,
Mhm.
But I feel like Rockstar, as we know it now, is going to be completely different by the time their next game comes out, and that's because of Sam Houser's writing,
Well, see, and the thing
or Dan
I'm
Houser. Dan
different
Houser is the
from
one
that
that left.
approach because I look more of their technical stuff than their narrative stuff. Their narrative stuff is completely forgettable. Nobody can tell me about most of their stories. They may talk about some twists of the plot points, but all their narrative stuff, people do not care about that. They
See,
care about
I
creating a
think people
narrative
do
of
care
what
about
they
that.
did.
Every
Uh,
single podcast who has commented on this has commented on how well the narratives are.
what you say again? I'm sorry, Corey, you had cut out.
Every single podcast that I've listened to since he left has commented on how like the narrative stuff is what affected them the most.
I've never heard anybody talk about the narrative. They may give a praise. I'm just saying they may get a praise, and I'm just saying for me, I don't hear it that much. I hear more people talking about what they did in the game, like the freedom that they did, on how they stole the car, ran into a building, some of the mod stuff on the PC version. I hear more of that in some of the soundtrack music that they chose. You know, I hear more about that stuff. For me personally, I don't think their mechanics and gameplay is going to change.
Well,
I think
I'm
that's
not talking
I think
about that though. I'm talking
and
he is he's the creative writing and
right,
creative team, right?
right, and that's why I feel like that's not going to change there at
See,
Rockstar.
I think it's going to change drastically because I do like from what little I played of like
Uh-huh.
I did finish Grand Theft Auto 4 and I played some Grand Theft Auto 5 but not enough to like really say, but I always appreciated like some of the writing and the way they kind of nail certain things. And you know, I mean, it doesn't always hit, right? It's not all of it's
Yeah.
always going to hit, right? But I do appreciate like I like the Laszlo radio station. I think the talk radio stuff that they did is quite exceptional.
Yeah.
And you know, I know Laszlo is part of that too. Like Laszlo is a writer at Rockstar, right? Like he does do that. But like I always thought their writing was, especially on the 360, like before games started really becoming story driven and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I really did think that that was exceptional. Now, I have always complained about the mechanics of Rockstar games. I do not think, like, especially in Grand Theft Auto, like cover-based shooting kind of sucks. The driving is whatever. It's okay at best, but like there's better driving games out there. I'm talking specifically about the writing stuff. I think that you're going to see a huge change and a huge shift away from the writing, and
Yeah.
it's going to be more. I think we're going to get whatever Grand Theft Auto 6 is. It's going to be kind of online focused and you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think Rockstar is going to change pretty significantly because I know Sam Houser, the brother that's still there. I think I
Yeah.
said he's the one that left. Dan Houser is the one that left. Sam is more of the business guy, and I think he's going to, unless he leaves at some point, which I could see very possibly happening, I feel like the business side is going to catch up with the creative side, and they're going to start pushing out games that, you know, maybe people will still like because people like Grand Theft Auto, and it's the same thing we talk about Madden when we talk about Madden, right? Like there are fans of Madden, and they will buy it every year, and they don't care the quality of the game. And I still see that happening. Like people will buy Grand Theft Auto as it comes
Yeah,
out.
I see that. Yeah, and that's
But
why
I
feel
don't
like
think
that,
They've sold almost 130 million copies
and
of it.
I feel like that, and I feel like people like that stuff won't change. It's just, I think with him leaving, it's just like that stuff won't change because people don't pay attention to that. I pay more attention to their gameplay mechanics and how it just feels disjointed and broken, and they'll never fix that. And because of that happening with me, I can't experience their narrative and find characters that I like and stuff because the game that's supposed to be the actual game that makes all the actions and stuff, it's just disheartening, you know, in a sense. Now, if it does change because of their narrative, because of him leaving, if they could find another writer to replace him, I think they would be fine. Right now, in their situation, if they could get someone who could do the same level of writing that he has done, I don't think there's going to be a difference. And I understand where you're coming from, Corey. I truly do understand where you're coming from.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying too, but I'm just saying, like, I think like the way people play Grand Theft Auto, like I do understand that there's a way smaller percentage of people who play the story and appreciate the story, and that's like the end of it, right? Like I think that's where you're coming from. I'm just saying the people that do appreciate that stuff really do appreciate that stuff, and I think that that the people that say that spread the word of mouth, and that's why Grand Theft Auto is so popular today, is because like the people that do appreciate this side of it bring people in, and then those people are the people that really do like the online stuff and the heists and all that stuff. And you know, like the online stuff has had expansions too that have pretty like pretty good voice acting and writing and story stuff too. So like that's a whole nother thing. And maybe we won't get Grand Theft Auto 6. Maybe we'll just get Grand Theft Auto Online version 2.0 where, you know, you get Vice City, you get Liberty City, you get London, you get another version of San Andreas, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like What?
I have theories and ideas.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll let Corey finish, and then I'll go into my thoughts.
I was just gonna say, like, I really feel like, you know, I really do feel like that Rockstar is going to change. Maybe not drastically at first, but it will change, and we will start seeing it trickle out sooner than later. Like,
yeah, and I could agree with that. If their next game we could see in their narrative stuff changing, then yes, that would be the change I will agree upon.
In the words of Ray Apollo, "Give me Bully 2, you cowards."
Yeah, but if none of that is affecting the gameplay and stuff, and it's still broken, that narrative to me personally is not going to be.
The writing's not going to affect the gameplay. That's for their engineers and their you know, gameplay testers and everything to figure out. But again,
which they've improved on all that stuff quite a bit over the you know, like as they come out with new games. Like I understand what you're saying, but I honestly I feel like this most recent Grand Theft Auto is by far has much better like mechanics as far as gameplay goes than it has in the past, and things work way better because like that's the thing is like they've kind of always like Grand Theft Auto always had its own feel, and it felt like this was the first time where it felt a little bit more modern. And now you got to realize that this game now is like how many years older? Yeah, so I mean,
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, like when it came out, honestly, I don't think it was that bad. But as so many other games have come out since then, when they make a new one, it will feel like hopefully it should feel better.
And see, and that's the problem that I have with Grand Theft Auto 5 after playing Saints Row 3. It's just like the gameplay in Saints Row 3 was fun. Like it worked. Like it was just something about it that was just like, oh, this is really good. When I went to Grand Theft Auto 5, I'm like, why is the flying just not good? Like, well, this is a problem.
Again, the thing is too is like, and I've said this multiple times, like, because you kind of had this issue with some of the things at first and Forza and things like that.
Yeah.
Like Grand Theft Auto is trying much more to be like in-game simulator of driving, an in-game simulator of flying. And so it like if you play like these flying simulators or driving simulators, you can't just like squeal your tires around a corner unless like your car is like built to be able to do that. And I just feel like it's not like Grand Theft Auto isn't as arcadey as Saints Row is, and that's why Saints Row feels a little bit different and a little bit easier or better to do things in it because it doesn't take much effort.
But even the stupid dogs.
Yeah, but that's kind of arcadey. That's arcadey too.
Yeah.
Not so much as Saints Row. I would say.
No,
I'd
but
say,
not as
it's
much.
but
it's
a
more
good
like
in-between.
it's more like Yakuza than it is
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, right? Like
Yeah.
I think Grand Theft Auto's mechanics, like everything about it is like it's a jack of all trades and really a master of none. But I think that mechanics for people, the mechanics that they have in there are good enough that, you know, people just accept it, right? Like I like it's not uncommon to hear like, oh, people think the shooting in Grand Theft Auto isn't very good, right? Like I think that's not uncommon, but like it feels good enough to the point where it's like, okay, well, this isn't the only thing I'm doing in this game. It's almost like the mechanics are just good enough to get by because you're not always doing the same thing all the time. So people don't think about it all the time. Like if Grand Theft Auto was only driving and shooting, like I think people would have a bigger problem with the mechanics than like, oh, well, I'm going to go play golf or I'm going to go play tennis or I'm going to go drive or I'm going to go fly a plane or I'm going to go do this heist, right? Like there's so many different layers and things that they're okay at that it makes it makes people just oversee what you know they have issues with because there's so many other things to do.
And I think that's why I get on Rockstar that stuff like that gets overlooked. People they get praised for that overlook, and it's just like they shouldn't with games like Saints Row and
I don't think they get
Yakuza.
praised. I don't think they get praised for their overlooks.
I think what they get
I
praised.
don't think anyone would
what
praise anything for saying, "Oh, you got congratulations on not paying enough attention to this."
I think people just think like they don't get praised for their mechanics or how well they do things. They get praised because there's so much to do in one world that you know it just they've put so much time and effort into designing everything in there. Like there's multiple golf courses that they've designed that you play a golf game, like sometimes there aren't even this many golf courses in a regular golf game, or you can play a whole round of tennis, right? Like that's a big thing. Or you can fly airplanes and race airplanes and blow stuff up. Like,
and more people talk about that stuff than they talk about narrative. Is what I'm trying to say.
No. I know that. I was just saying like the people that do appreciate it will probably notice a difference in the coming games.
Well, and you've also added like you've got to remember that once you're done with the story, you're done with the story. Like the majority of the time, what you're doing is playing the game and doing interactions and things like that. Yes. So obviously, no matter how good or how bad a story is at that point, when you're done with it, no one's going to talk about it. People talked about it a lot when it first came out,
and I think that was.
But now that they're done with it. Like now they're talking about what they do in the game that continues to make it. And like I kind of wanted to go back to the actual question part for me. So like, in my opinion, I do think it will make a little bit of a difference as far as the writing and all that stuff goes. But I think at this point, like a lot of those people, I'm guessing, have been working together for quite some time now. And, and people that I'm sure there's people that have been mentoring, him while he was there and, and kind of have picked up on maybe some of the ways he thinks when, figuring out stories. So I honestly, I think sometimes something like this happening can be a really good thing. And I think a perfect example of it we can see in TV shows.
Yes.
Where a lot of the times once you start getting into seasons 5 and 6 of a TV show, it just starts to go completely stale and people start to drop off, and a lot of the times they have bad endings to the series in general. I think that game companies that make games like GTA, it probably is a good idea for those people, those main writers, to be switching out, because then it's fresh and it's new, and you can go into it with the same ideas, but a different perspective.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
it's
I honestly think there's a possibility that people might enjoy the stories even more because it's new and it's fresh, and they're, like it does, like they can come up with new ways to
it's almost like
live out a story.
it's almost like when they say like sometimes the creators who created it are too close to it, or are too close to it, to the point where like they have a vision of it and it can't stray. Where you look at Star Wars, for example, right? How people bash George Lucas for the prequels, right? Because he was the creator, obviously. And like, I think that the sequel trilogy is, I haven't seen the last one, but I do think that the previous two films were better than anything that the prequels did. And it's because they had a change of hand and writers, and you start to see, fan type people take over and write their own perspectives of the story. Like you said, like, I think like you said, maybe it is time for a change, and maybe they'll be better or worse for it. But either way, I think we'll see it in the coming years.
And that's why I say if they could find a writer, like, to me personally, if they have a writer that like wrote Sleeping Dogs, that I feel like that next Grand Theft Auto is going to be on the next level of something. Like it's going to have some serious to it, but it's going to be cohesive, and it might be something that a lot of people will talk about. For me personally,
well, and I think there's a lot of with a lot of either businesses or companies laying off people, or like I think now more than ever there's a good chance that they can find some people. But I still, like I said, I think the person who replaces him for writing has been there for years now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think there's gonna be too much of changes going on. I think they probably will maybe pick up some other people if they want to, maybe, whoever gets his position is like, hey, I really like how this guy thinks, we should maybe hire him and he can help out with this part. Now, the other thing that I wanted to just really quick touch on too, moving, as far as the question of moving forward, like I've heard a lot of people talking about this on podcasts, maybe he left because they don't plan on doing more story stuff and all that, and they're just going to keep it online. I don't think that that's going to happen. What I would like to personally see is I would like to see their games and their online service be very similar to the Elder Scrolls games, where you have the Elder Scrolls actual games where you get, the bunch of story and all that stuff. Like separate. But then you also have the Elder Scrolls Online, where they continuously add. Yeah. So like so basically what they would do is they would use GTA Online to get the revenue that they need to make the next game. And then when that game comes out, they can do very similar to like a lot of those MMO games do, where you can still have the different cities and do stuff in those different places or whatever.
Which Corey said that they'll probably do that with like a GTA 2.0 online 2.0.
Yeah,
I could totally see GTA.
I could see them still making then the regular games. But all that would do for the online stuff then is influence what they've already been building on, because they've stuck so much money into making that online service. Well,
yeah, because that's
as good as it is.
That online was garbage when it first came out.
I think.
Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like I could easily see GTA Online going free to play when, like, but also to get the new city in GTA Online, you have to buy the new game, right? So like, they would almost treat it like an expansion pack that comes with a campaign, right? Where like, okay, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to add Vice City to GTA Online, but to get Vice City, you need to purchase GTA 6, and then you can play in that space online. That's the easiest way to do it, because like
Yeah.
I think if you do GTA Online, right? Like Ed said, like so many people only appreciate the world and what you can do in it outside of the narrative stuff, that like that would really make the single player stuff suffer in terms of sales, right? Like I think you need to connect GTA, the campaigns of a new GTA to the online world. I think they need each other to an extent, right? Like I think they need each other to thrive. In a way.
Well, what they could do is they can have it kind of like they did somewhat with GTA Online.
Yeah.
Like they could have it where you buy the GTA 6, you buy that, you play the story on there, and then what they could do is from there the story could continue in the online stuff. Kind of like that would be their version of the end game type kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like where the story would continue, but it wouldn't be anything. Online. Yeah, but it wouldn't be anything like significant. Like, hey, you can't get the actual true ending of this game.
Oh yeah.
Without getting the online, it would be more of like an enhancement to it.
People would be pissed if that happened.
It would be more of a continuation. Like,
I mean, that's what Grand Theft
like
Auto
a lot
5
of
did.
Which one?
That's what Grand Theft Auto 5 did. The story continued into with your created character and the online stuff.
Well, but like, but the story, at the end point of Grand Theft Auto 5, it just is like.
There's clearly an ending, but the side character still exists, and that's how they continue the story through.
That
it's more of like a world story than like a character story at that point. But
but he's just.
It's kind of like
I think Jesse was just saying, like, for the actual game, to get the true ending to the actual game, you have to. They put everything in online. Like,
I mean, they could do what Prince of Persia did.
Really, what I was saying.
Sell the ending as DLC.
I was just saying that was the idea that was the impression that I was getting. Like the true ending to the actual game's campaign.
No,
we actually have to do it in GTA Online to get that actual true ending.
No,
that's what it sounded like he was implying.
No, that's why I tried to clarify that I didn't mean like that you'd have to get play the online in order to actually finish the game. I just meant like it would, like it does do with Grand Theft Auto 5, but like they could find like ways to then change it. So like if you're playing on the online and you've only finished GTA 5, then that world won't have anything from the new GTA and in it until you've actually finished GTA 6.
Yeah.
Well,
like actually have it where it can like add certain like things or whatever that you can do.
Well, final thoughts, everybody.
Final thoughts as in Ed has to go to work.
Because I really want to have, like I said, I want to have more of the conversation of Anthem. I think we kind of said our piece about this question, so thank you, Megan Green, for it. And I really wanted to touch on it because I really wanted to get your answers on it. But that is going to wrap up. Any final thoughts, I should say, about anything?
Not really. I wonder where it's gonna be interesting because Rockstar's been on top for so long. Like I wonder how this is going to affect the studio at large, because Dan's always been the one that has pushed back on like, no, we're not doing GTA every other year because we want to make it as strong of a product as possible, right? And Sam has always been the one that agrees with him, right? But now that the creative side is of that, the brothers are gone, like, what's going to happen with the business side? So that's the interesting part.
And if 2K takes over that IP, go ahead.
My last thought is like I honestly I just hope that like I think they'll be perfectly fine. I honestly don't think that, like, I mean, there will be changes, but I think if anything, it's gonna be like some things could be for the good, because like I know, like you're just about to say that, like if 2K like owned that, I think you would see something similar to Respawn, where they're not gonna just bow down to whoever owns it. Like they're going to fight for like their properties and aren't gonna just be bullied around. I don't think that would happen with them. They've been doing this, and they, like I said, they've sold over 120 million copies of GTA 5. I don't think that anyone's gonna try to mess with them and tell them how to do things, because they obviously know what they're doing. The last thing is, like, I just think that we could see a positivity from this change, kind of like I said earlier.
Yeah, and you plugs at Rockstar. Give me my Max Payne 4. That's what I want. I'm sorry, Jesse. But we do have to wrap this up. I'm sorry. Yeah. But everybody go ahead and plug. You guys can find me on Twitter at that Retro Code and Optional Opinion on SoundCloud. Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey in HD on social media and Corey in HD on Mixer.
Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS, including SoundCloud. I got my song that I talked about in the beginning up there, I believe. So
yes. So everybody email us at bossrushgazepro@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at boss_rush_gaze, and join us on our Facebook page at Boss Rush Gaze community page. And check us out on Xbox Live. Check us all on Mixer. Check our Twitter profiles for more information. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. We never do hear this or see this. And we will see you next time on Boss Rush Games. Bye, everybody.